Ladies and gentlemen, this is Hollywood Joe from Hollywood's World of Sports, coming to you today with another edition of Hollywood's Hot Topics. And today I want to talk to you about the newly formed NXT Women's Tag Team Championships. These championships were revealed last week on NXT. They were awarded to Raquel Gonzalez and Dakota Kai for their win in the Dusty Rhodes Tag Team Classic, and because Adam Pearce screwed them over in the WWE Women's Tag Team Championship match against Nia Jax and Shayna Baszler. Now, the reason I want to come talk to you about this today is because a lot of the so-called experts, dirt sheet writers, journalists, and I use that term loosely, a lot of them had a lot of negative things to say about these tag team championships and how it wasn't necessary and how they shouldn't be on the NXT brand and whatever. Whatever. Here's the thing. NXT has the best women's division in professional wrestling right now. You can try and argue that with me and tell me something else until you're blue in the face, but there's nothing you can say that will convince me otherwise. And I think this was a brilliant move by NXT because the NXT women's division has so much depth and so much talent that women's tag team championships in NXT will mean a lot more than the women's tag team championships that are being defended down in Raw and SmackDown. Here's the thing. Raw and SmackDown have a huge, huge problem with the women's division. Number one, they lack a lot of depth. Number two, the same 3 or 4 women are in the singles title picture all the time. And number 3, the women that are teaming up, they're not clicking. Like Naomi and Lana, I don't understand that tag team. Dana Brooke, Peyton Royce, Mandy Rose, whatever rotation of people that is, doesn't make any sense. Billie Kay, not sure what she's doing. Bayley, ever since losing the SmackDown Women's Championship, has had really nothing going on for her. Rhea Ripley, who's supposed to be on Raw, has not been seen at all. And so people wonder why the NXT women's division is thriving and the women's divisions on Raw and SmackDown are really struggling. So here's the thing. It's been said, and these are all rumors and theories, because you never hear the stuff come out of people's mouths. The theory is that Vince McMahon never wanted the WWE Women's Tag Team Championships to begin with. He finally caved in because that's what the women wanted. And I kind of buy into this theory a little bit because the Women's Tag Team Championships and the division itself has been clustered ever since they had them. Sasha and Bayley held them first, which I thought was a great move. The Iconics, who are a legitimate tag team, held them for a while. Good move. Alexa Bliss and Nikki Cross held them, and they had already been teaming at that point. Good move. Asuka and Kairi Sane held them. So I get all that stuff. But here's the thing. Here's what bothers me the most. You have legitimate female tag teams like the Iconics, the Riot Squad, Fire and Desire, Sonya Deville and Mandy Rose, for those of you who don't know that name. Um, you have Natalia and Lana, who are legit best friends in the business. You have Naomi and Tamina, who are basically family, have teamed together in the past. You have all these combinations that make sense, but they're not doing anything that makes sense. At least in NXT, they are developing women's tag team competitors, not just singles, because you've had Raquel and Dakota team for quite a while now. You have had Ember Moon be with Shotzi Blackheart basically since Ember came back to NXT. You have, Caden Carter and Casey Catanzaro as a team. They team up all the time. I'm sure they're going to pair women that we have never seen on TV together to help build this women's tag team division in NXT. And so I wholeheartedly am very supportive of the NXT women's tag team championships. I don't know why other people think that there's an issue or there's a problem with it. A lot of people felt that the WWE Women's Tag Team Champions on multiple occasions should have lost to an NXT team. I can agree with that to a certain extent. I totally agree that maybe an NXT, tag team should have won the WWE Women's Tag Team Championships, at least one. I know Dakota Kai and Tegan Knox went after him a couple times. I know there was, one or two other teams that went after those women's tag team championships. And should they have won? Maybe. But the problem is if those ladies would have won, like I think in Vince McMahon's mind and the Raw and SmackDown people, they probably would have felt that competitors going down to NXT to try and get those titles from an NXT women's tag team would have been a step down and would have looked at the WWE women's tag team belts as less important. And guess what? They're still not that important. Who are they going to build up to actually be able to challenge Shayna Baszler and Nia Jax? Like, who's going to come? I mean, is Rhea Ripley going to team with Charlotte Flair? Charlotte Flair going to team with Asuka again? Is Bianca Belair going to win with Sasha Banks? I personally would love to see Bianca Belair versus, Bianca Belair team with Naomi. Perfect tag team. Power and, innovative offense. Like, I could go on about the possibilities of a tag team between Bianca and Naomi. Anyways, I will say this. This is my bold prediction, and I will end on this because I don't want to rant on too much about this. My bold prediction is that a year from now, we're going to look back on this, and the NXT Women's Tag Team Championships will be more important and more valuable than the WWE Women's Tag Team Championships. You heard me right. I said it correctly. I didn't stutter. And a year from now, the NXT Women's Tag Team Championships will be more valuable than the WWE Women's Tag Team Championships. And I am going to end on that note because I'm sure I'm going to get a lot of people raising their eyebrows at me, and I don't care. So, with that being said, my name is Hollywood Joe from Hollywood's World of Sports. Be sure to check me out on Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, Instagram, and the website hollywoodsworldofsports.com. And as always remember, controversy doesn't come without criticism.